morning. I'm back again. The other day, yesterday maybe, I made a video on a Garrard Type A auto changer, which I have subsequently posted. And at that time, I indicated that it came in a console with this fella. And here it is. I said I would do at least a preliminary video of it. And I'm amazed at this for any number of reasons. First of all, you can see the dust and the rust and everything else that it has been existing under for quite some time. However, it being over 60 years old, it works. I took a chance and plugged it in to my dim bulb, and it glowed fairly bright, but then this is a high current device, so I let it go, and then I took a chance and took it off dim bulb, and lo and behold,
chemical isotopes and so much more.
It
Tours
works.
depart from the visitor.
And it works fairly well. I haven't tested any of the tubes yet, mainly because as an amplifier it works fine, and as a radio, FM, it works fine. So all of these tubes, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they are all in the FM, IF, and detector stage. So they're all working. This one and this one are specifically for AM, and this one does dual duty as an AM, IF, or intermediate frequency, and FM, IF amplifier tube. However, I think I've mentioned a few times that we no longer have any AM stations in the area, and therefore it won't be picking up anything. So there it is. It works. It needs servicing, and there's no doubt about that. So I will show the face, if I can flip it up and show this face. Now the glass, which was attached to the cabinet, is now in safekeeping, and it has an overlay for this. The knobs will go on through the glass plate. And if I'm going to do anything substantial with this, I'll have to make a box for it, and then I can attach the front plate to it. So it has, these things aren't marked completely. This is treble, this is bass, this is both volume and balance, and that's your input selector, and this is basically AM distance, AM day, AM hi-fi, and then FM, and then FM AFC. This is the tuning, which is kind of stiff. That needs service. Okay, so now I will attempt to turn it over and get it in frame and not burn or otherwise electrocute myself. It's turned off, by the way. Okay. That can... I don't think it's resting on anything nasty. No, it's resting on the power transformer. All right. So the filter caps, of which this is one and there is one there too, they will need to be replaced. I might consider restuffing them. The protection is the circuit breaker, and normally I don't use them because circuit breakers can fail without any particular reason. I may choose just to leave this one in, just depends how it operates. The safety capacitor will have to be put in place of that. That goes from one side of the line to the chassis. If this fails, your entire chassis becomes a 50-50 chance of becoming live. I think a lot of people have described how dangerous that can be. So the IF, which is in this sub-chassis here, is populated with ceramic, which in an audio chain is less than desirable because they can be bing microphonic. However, in an IF and bypass, they're normally quite acceptable. So things that will need to be replaced are this and any of these black beauty type capacitors, they will get replaced. The tubes will be tested. The tube sockets will be cleaned. Controls will all be cleaned. And what else needs to be done? Resistors that are, say, plate resistors for the most part, some cathode resistors, 47K, 1K, they are in the preamp and tone control circuits. The cathode bypass, the bypass capacitors, not cathode, yeah, cathode bypass capacitor and the cathode resistor, they will be checked. The capacitors all will be replaced. These power resistors need to be checked as well, and tubes will be checked. I'm anticipating a pretty good success rate with this. I have most tubes in stock if any of the tubes are weak or leaky, but obviously as I've shown operation of it very minimally, it's working. So again, I'm very impressed with that. So for me to try and film or tape or whatever video, me replacing individual parts is kind of silly. My hands get in the way, and then I forget where the camera is, and things get blocked. So basically, what I will do is replace these things off camera, and then show the final result. Interestingly, there are two filament wiring secondaries that feed each individual channel. And each individual channel has a hum balance control, which is, I don't know whether it's particularly necessary to do that, but that's what they chose to do. What I would have preferred, if I had my druthers, is that they had push-pull. And they didn't. It's single-ended. So the amount of power that you'll get that's undistorted is obviously less. In another world, I might decide to take all of this out and replace them with push-pull circuitry. The problem with that is that to acquire the transformer, which requires a push-pull transformer, they're frightfully expensive, and I don't think it really warrants that, just to satisfy my need to up the power on it. I'm fairly certain that here we go. We'll change it over again. I'm fairly certain that the power transformer, this massive baby, is quite sufficient to power push-pull circuitry. And certainly the rectifier tube, the 5U4, is really over-designed for single-ended. I can't see why they did that. A 5Y3 or 5Y4 would have sufficed for that. The thing that I am impressed with are these transformers. They are massive for single-ended use. Certainly they put to shame what Clairtone used even in their push-pull circuitries, half the size of this. And they work adequately, I guess, but this is quality build here, as is the floating sub-chassis, which really isn't floating much anymore. I guess there's nothing much else to say about this. The FM front end is bare bones to my standards. It does have an RF amp tube, and it's not tuned. So the sensitivity is better than if it wasn't there. But as you can see by the tuning gang, is that for AM, there's 1, 2, 3 sections, which means the RF is tuned. Then you have the converter mixer tube, which is that. And in that, you will also have the oscillator, local oscillator. So you've got RF, local oscillator, and mixer functions there, which makes it a much more sensitive AM receiver than an FM receiver. Basically, I think most manufacturers really design these things for urban use, And for people like me that live out in the boonies, FM reception can be a bit problematical. They didn't seem to be concerned about that. But I would have been more impressed with Electrohome if they had put a tuned RF circuit in there. But it isn't the case, and it's hard to complain to them when it's 60 years ago, and Electrohome, unfortunately, is long out of business, and that is really a crying shame because they were an excellent Canadian manufacturer. And I guess that's it for now. I shall clean this up, test the tubes, replace what's necessary. I'll either just put capacitors underneath for these, or maybe I'll restuff them. I don't know. It takes a fair bit of effort to clean out the stuff that's in there, and sometimes it's filled with tar, which is really difficult to get cleaned up. But we'll see how much energy I have to devote on this, and then we'll see what we do with it. Knobs have to be cleaned as well. So that's part one for this, and thank you very much for watching. I hope that was informative to some degree, and to help me out. I can't remember exactly where I got the schematics and the service information for it, but I did. I think it might have been Pacific TV, which has been a very good source for me for all older radios, phonographs, and stereo systems. They've been quite complete in what they have. So that goes into my binders for future use. Okay, so have a good rest of the day. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like what I do, please give me a like. Thank you. Bye-bye.